Now, I've never been to a funeral where someone gets up to give the eulogy and says, boy, we sure are going to miss Grandma, but at least we'll be able to not have to check our wallets and our purses continuously at the family reunions anymore, right? Because Grandma was a thief. I've been in funerals where I've heard people talk about, Grandma, she sure was sweet, but if you crossed her, she'd never forget it. I've heard people tell stories with pride about how they have held onto a grudge for decades. And we have kind of equated bitterness as this lesser sin. But what is clear from Scripture is that it's incredibly dangerous. It's a threat to our hearts. It's a threat to our families. It's a threat to our churches. It's a threat to our community. Now, Ephesians chapter 4, where Paul talks about all of those sins, he also talks about bitterness, and he doesn't transition by saying, oh, now let's talk about a lesser sin. He talks about bitterness as an especially dangerous sin, a major problem. God commands us not to steal, not to lie, not to speak corruptly, and also not to let the sun go down upon our wrath. What I want you to see in Scripture is that God makes it clear that bitterness is incredibly dangerous to our hearts.